Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
More than 24 hours after it first happened, a water main break is still impacting parts of Waterbury tonight. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Fox 61's Tim Latow joins us live from the construction scene with all the latest on what's happened. Tim.
Yes, Sarah and Brent, after a long day of work, crews are now done for the night. You can still see the construction vehicles and excavators behind me here, though. They'll be fired back up tomorrow. While most of the city is water again, the repairs to the actual pipes will likely not be complete until the weekend. The break affects 10 miles of pipes, which need to drain before the repairs can actually start. Crews say they might not be able to actually start the repair process until Friday as a result of how long draining might take. Water was gushing across streets initially, but it's now been slowed and is under control. The repairs will take days as a result of the old infrastructure because custom-made valve parts need to be manufactured in Florida and New Jersey before they're shipped up here. There's a water boil order in effect for any homes or businesses that lost water or experienced significant pressure reduction. Mayor Paul Pernaruski says less than 1,000 customers in Waterbury and Watertown were without water before the first repairs. Some businesses closed, but many stayed open, like Aurora's Diner, whose owners say they may have lost business amid the confusion.
Everyone's calling in, texting us if we're open or not, and no one's coming in because they assume we don't have water.
We have made a decision, which is to re-energize the water lines. The water will return through the system. We're doing that slowly because if we do it suddenly and there's air in the system, it will blow out more valves.
And the mayor adds fire tankers from surrounding municipalities are on standby, ready to provide support as Waterbury lacks the water pressure needed in fire hydrants. And again, people are being told to boil water as a precaution. Tomorrow, the Bureau of Water will be out to collect samples, and then the advisory will be lifted once the city clears it. For now, live in Waterbury, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
All right, time now for a first look at the weather. It's been pretty soggy since about this time last night, and it's not drying up now.
Yeah, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a first look at the forecast. And are there showers out there right now, Rachel?
Yeah, we've got showers at least in parts of the state, and that rain is only going to continue to fill in, and it will be heavy at times into tomorrow with some embedded thunderstorms as well. Of course, this is much needed rain, but there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and if we get caught in a bunch of downpours in a row, there is a chance for some nuisance poor drainage issues as we head through the day tomorrow. We dry things out though in time for Friday and this upcoming weekend. So again, it's not statewide, but we do have some showers that are out here from Windsor Locks over through Granby, Heartland seeing some rain, Goshen and Torrington as well. And if we widen this out, you'll just see this wall of water that's coming in our direction. So here's a look at the future radar as we head through the overnight hours. Showers will continue to slowly expand, and there might even be some storms that wake you up early tomorrow before the alarm clock goes off or just as you're heading out the door. Check in with the Fox 61 morning show crew. They'll let you know if there's any trouble spots out there as that rain starts to really come down. And we'll see periods of rain off and on, again, some heavy at times through your Thursday with a chance for some thunder mixed in as well. We're going to talk about what happens after we dry out because some changes are there as well. Your full forecast is coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, Connecticut officials have agreed to a $2.2 million settlement in the 2023 killing of nurse Joyce Grayson. She was killed by a convicted sex offender, Michael Reese, while visiting a halfway house. Reese was sentenced to 50 years in prison. A state judge approved the settlement for a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Grayson's husband. The family's attorney says they are also nearing a resolution with other parties involved in the lawsuit, including Grayson's employer and the January Center, the nonprofit organization that ran the program Reese attended. A number of laws will be implemented on October 1st, including one that prohibits law enforcement officers from handcuffing children under the age of 14.
Fox 61's Kate Pattyfoot joins us live now from New Haven with the details on this. Kate.
Brent and Sarah, what that law means is that children under the age of 14 who are cooperating with police in an incident will not be handcuffed. But in certain situations, some children who are not cooperating could be handcuffed. This bill was introduced because of the psychological effects handcuffing someone under 14 may cause. State Representative Greg Howard and Executive Director of CTVIP Leonard Jihad says in certain situations it is necessary to handcuff children that young.
Officers can use handcuffs when it was necessary for public safety, or if the juvenile is trying to use physical force. Generally speaking, I think that's when handcuffs are used on juveniles anyway.
You don't want to traumatize, a child or re-traumatize them, from past experiences. But, for certain circumstances, I think you have to do it on an individual basis.
Jihad works with at-risk young people in New Haven. He knows firsthand why you would handcuff a child.
Back in New Haven a few years ago, the most dangerous people, as described, by myself and community partners that deal with violence, they were 14 years old. They were actively shooting and causing great harm to the community.
Representative Howard says this law makes it more clear for everyone should a child need to be handcuffed.
What the law does is basically says if you're going to put handcuffs on a child that is under 14 years old, you have to articulate that there was a public safety risk or they were being violent towards you.
This law goes into effect October 1st, and for a full list of other laws that are coming to Connecticut, you can find that on fox61.com and the free Fox 61 News app. Live in New Haven, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Thank you, Kay. Pura slashed Eversource's gas rate hike request, only approving a modest increase for a year beginning this November.
Yeah, the state regulatory agency only approved a $41.5 million increase for Yankee Gas Services. Its owner, Eversource, had requested a much larger increase of more than $192 million. In a report released this week, Pura denied Yankee's request for hundreds of millions in plant additions, saying they're not useful. Pura penalized Eversource for poor record keeping and procurement practices and noted several instances of poor management and oversight. Also detailed in the report, Pura criticized the corporate level environmental, social, and governance and DEI programs.
Pura said ratepayer money should not be used for these programs unless there's proof they deliver outcomes for customers. Eversource said its proposal would have added about $46 a month to customers' bills. But with Pura's decision, customers can expect only about $6 to $7 extra a month.
I felt hurt because you're blaming something on the parents. It is not true. It's not correct. You're misleading information right now.
Some parents of children who have autism say they are not taking the blame for choosing Tylenol as their main choice of pain medicine.
During a press conference Monday, President Trump said taking acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, during pregnancy could raise the risk of developmental disorders in newborns, but medical experts say the medication is safe to take while pregnant. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi caught up with a nurse practitioner and a parent. She has reaction.
Well, local physicians tell me there's decades of evidence that it's safe to take acetaminophen while pregnant. But parents with children on the autism spectrum say the president's statement was misleading.
Honestly, it was hurtful.
A statement made by President Trump Monday that links autism to Tylenol use has caused frustration in some parents with children on the spectrum. Christina Cotto lives in Hartford, and she says being a parent of a child on the spectrum, she already deals with the intensity of stress.
So for that statement to happen, it put kind of like a guilt on me. Like, wow, me taking this medication caused my child to have autism.
The statement caused controversy across the nation, but it also sparked a question. Is it harmful for pregnant women to take Tylenol?
No, we have decades of studies that show no causal real link between autism using acetaminophen known as Tylenol.
Nurse practitioner and clinical faculty member at Quinnipiac University, Judith Deshpande, explains previous studies show that even the possibility of using acetaminophen long-term while pregnant would not necessarily cause autism.
And it was not associated with autism. It was associated with the possibility of some other concomitant neuro issues, but not necessarily only or exclusively autism. So any medication used for long, excessive periods of time aren't really well studied in pregnant women, but the occasional use is by all means considered very safe, and that is backed up by the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
Caro has a bleeding disorder, and she says Tylenol is the only pain medicine she uses. She says having a child with autism is not only a challenge, but it has opened a door to advocate for other parents and children, where there's often a lack of information and resources.
It's a lot of factor to it. It's not just Tylenol. Do not blame yourself. Do not blame yourself because it's not your fault. We're our kids' advocate. We are our kids' voices, and we're gonna be loud.
Now, Deshpande says you should always get your information from your medical provider. In Hartford, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
We're getting an update from an assistant youth football coach from New Milford. He's accused of pushing a 7-year-old player to the ground during a game. But in a statement through his attorney, Daniel Fazio says the narrative presented thus far has been skewed and fabricated. Fazio's statement reads in part, quote, "We are confident that the facts will come to light in court and that these charges will ultimately be dismissed. As long-standing members of this community, as professionals, and as a family, we would never harm a child." Fazio was charged with breach of peace, disorderly conduct, and risk of injury to a child. And according to police, no one was hurt during the incident over the weekend when his team was playing the Waterbury youth football team.